Hello everyone, I'm Mirash here, and in this video I'll be sharing my experience of PW real test that was conducted yesterday across 168 cities, and I also appeared for it, and here's my experience. Now, number one, at 1 o'clock I reached my center, which was too early, I think, because for literally half an hour I did nothing except sitting, and I got super bored. But it's always good to reach the center early to prevent anything wrong, any mishap. So I got my room very easily, and as soon as I entered the particular class, I was literally so disappointed. The tables were moving. It was like 100-year-old classroom. I felt that I'm in 1950s, 1960s. Ventilation was super improper. Lighting system was not that good, but it didn't matter at all. So all the students were present and they were looking a bit tensed. I was still confident that I'll be able to do well. I'll be able to crack this particular examination. So at 2 o'clock, the question paper along with OMR sheets, they both were distributed. Then we had to fill a few details like your name, parents' name, registration number, test booklet number, and in NEET you don't get any reading time like JR, like boards. So at 2 o'clock, I first filled all the details and then started with the zoology section. Surprisingly, it was a little tricky. Like in all other mock tests of mine, which I write at my house, I get the answers at once, like tick, 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 tick in this sequence. But this time, the zoology was a little tricky. Like you had to think, I wasn't getting the answers on the tips. I had to think a little and then mark. So this was something good, and I appreciate the teachers for making such a conceptual zoology paper. And my zoology finished pretty early with section A, section B. I had a doubt in two, three questions. That's it. Rest, everything I knew. At this point of time, our invigilator started shouting on the students because they had filled the registration number wrong and they were demanding for a new OMR sheet. We are doing the paper, and invigilator is continuously scolding as if we are 2, 3 year old students and we don't have brain, like seriously. And these people also don't even think once before filling. They could have asked the invigilator that, sir, okay, we have to fill this, so please guide us through. Like I've thought two times before filling. Whatever I'm writing should be very clear to me before I write. So in that low ventilation zone, my head started paining literally, and the invigilator was shouting. Invigilator was not that cooperative. I just pray that in NEET I don't get such kind of an invigilator. I personally didn't like that. So I moved to botany after that. Luckily, botany was very easy, and I'm expecting 175 out of 180 in botany. My botany went superb, and that's one of my highest scores in botany ever. Like in the mock tests which I've given so far, I've never scored 175 to be very honest. 170 was my maximum score. After that, I moved to chemistry. In chemistry, the questions were mostly PYQ based, if I say. Like from PYQs, they directly changed the values. And in this, I literally did so many silly mistakes in chemistry. I was so confident while giving the paper, but when I came back home and checked my paper, I was devastated. Reason being, I did so many silly mistakes. And I was so scared that what if it happens in NEET? The purpose of making this video is just speaking everything that I feel, because since yesterday I've been feeling really demotivated. Yeah, the pressure, I was feeling that pressure in the offline test, and you cannot, there were two questions in chemistry which were not at all in NCRT. Now I understand in NEET 2023 they had asked the structure of pyridine, okay, which is clearly given in GOC in that heterocyclic compounds in GOC in class 11 NCRT. Clearly pyridine structure is given, that it has 11 sigma bonds, 3 pi bonds, and 1 lone pair of the nitrogen atom. This was fine, but in this real test they had asked the structure of pyrrole. I could not understand where pyrrole is given in NCRT. I searched the entire NCRT. I could not find it. I thought pyrrole was the other name of pyridine, so I filled this 11 sigma 3 pi 1 lone pair, and it went wrong. What was my mistake when it wasn't present in NCRT and you're giving this question in the paper, in such an important paper, which you're saying it's your NEET twin? So this is not expected. A student will be afraid, right? Who has given so much for the past 2 years. After that, there was one question: when adipic acid is heated, what is formed? Then I watched the video in which Yogesh Jain sir was discussing the organic part. So he said that there's something called as Planck's rule, and 1,4 dicarboxylic acid and 1,6 dicarboxylic acid. This ketone or this what anhydride, this all is formed. Where is it in NCRT, sir? Where? My teacher never taught me Planck's rule or any other rule in which carboxylic acid is heated. What I know is when carboxylic acid is heated, it forms anhydride as per NCRT, in which V2O5 was one of the catalysts, and I think P2O5 was the reagent, along with H plus from acid source or any other source. So I could not attempt that question. I mean, I attempted it but got it wrong. So 10 marks I've lost in chemistry without any reason, and there is no bonus as usual. So basically, I'm losing 10 marks like this in chemistry and other silly mistakes. So I don't want to talk about that. Then comes physics finally, and physics completely broke me. At least 5 to 6 questions were there which had very high level of mathematics, and I'd seen them for the very first time, to be very honest. I'd never seen these kind of questions before. Now teachers are saying that paper was easy, but they are teachers, of course, they know how to solve the questions. I had not seen them these kind of questions before. I understand that my physics is also not very strong, I have to work on it, but there was such, from projectile motion from the past 5 years in NEET, very direct questions I've been asking, and this time they asked something cos theta tan theta identities, like trigonometric identities were asked. What? We are not math students, we are biology students. Why are you testing a math? Literally 5 questions were there which were testing heavy calculation. Now, if physics paper has to be calculated, then at least chemistry, biology should be little easy. They were also not that easy. So this wasn't completely NEET relevant, I feel, the real test. Some of you might disagree, but truth is the truth. In NEET, if you've seen the past 30-year sample papers, you would have realized how NEET paper comes usually. So, talking about overall experience was good, but it could have been better. The center could have been better. Center was really old, and invigilators were not that cooperative. Fine, like they were telling us 1 hour is left, 2 hours are left. That's fine, and even no clock was there in my center. Wow, like we cannot even see what the time is. You have to ask the invigilator, how does it feel? Yeah, it disturbs you so much. Literally 27 days are left for NEET, and even I've asked my friends who are going to various other coaching institutes, and they're reporting the same thing, that coaching institutes are giving irrelevant papers. It's my request that at least in the last 20 days, please give us moderate level papers so that we don't get demotivated. Even if they're a little easier than NEET, it will just boost our confidence, and we'll get the hope to study better and perform well, because already 1% of the students get selected in NEET, and due to mock papers, I don't want any of my friends to give up. There are a lot of YouTube comments that I'm receiving related to mock papers and all of that. That they're not scoring well. It's fine. NEET is really easy. Yeah? I've seen the past 30-year papers. If it had been difficult, then the questions would not have been so straightforward in the past few years. You see 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, 5 years. It's really very scoring. For the person who has studied NCRT, I could not find any question out of NCRT. And assertion reasoning in physics, that's always very strange thing. This time there was an assertion reasoning from collision. I thought the answer will be 2, answer turned out to be 1. Physics I've scored really bad, and I just give my best for the remaining 20 days and not think about the mock test results. I felt really good after pouring my heart out and after talking to you guys, and I hope that your NEET goes well, and for the juniors, all the best.